Thought we'd have a walk down to the river just a week or so after Storm Dara, which followed Storm Bert in quick succession. And I've lived around here since 1995. I've lived in the area for longer than that, but this particular spot since 1995. And I've seen some changes down here carved out by the river. Look at this one. Kite come in. Get all sorts of nature and wildlife and everything down here, which leads me to the fact that everything has to be left alone. The river has to be able to do its own thing down here. No interference from mankind. And we're looking at a massive oak tree there. Well, massive, very large one. Probably got a trunk diameter of about 3 feet, so I'm guessing it must be at least a couple hundred years old. And we can see a couple of its former companions there laying in the river, and I've seen them. They're quite large trees themselves, not as large as this one, but I'd say perhaps 100, 150 years old, that big one laying in the river there. And the river's just been allowed to carve its way into the banks. Look at that grass there on the sloping down to the water. That's fresh. That's because the river's hollowed that out last time. And it's only a matter of time before this fine old oak tree joins the others and topples into the river. Now, if everything's being left to nature, is that good? We've got another bit of tree sticking up out the middle of the river there. Now, we've got all sorts of bridges along this river, upstream and downstream, and I'm sure that from time to time some of them must get clogged with branches and bits of tree and whatever that end up in there. It's not really to anyone or anything's benefit, I wouldn't have thought, to let these things go into the river. And it's not the landowner's fault that he's not allowed to do anything, even if he wanted to. I don't know whether he would or not, but if he got a machine in the river and started building the banks up to stop the river carving away at his land, he'd end up in all sorts of trouble. And I just have to wonder, where is the actual sense in that? Surely people should be allowed to sort of do things that might be productive or constructive to take care of things like this. And this fine old tree we've got here, which isn't going to be here for much longer. So I just thought, I don't think anybody else has ever made a video of it, but I thought just sort of acknowledge that it was there, because unfortunately I don't think it's going to be too long. A couple more storms, a couple more years, this one will be gone. But at the same time, if the landowner decided to come here with a chainsaw and knock this down, there'd probably be uproar. None of it really makes sense to me, but there you go. So there's our fine old oak tree. Probably not going to be there for too much longer, sadly.